Alrighty, just a little update. Went ahead and took apart your sprocket cover to get to the sprocket, the rear sprocket output shaft seal and the clutch seal for your clutch rod seal. Your parts, your components, you can see everything right here. You've got your cover that holds in this seal for the crank output. Then you've got your seal for your clutch. This is your rod that pushes, your clutch activates on the left hand side, and then your clutches are on the right hand side, and what this rod does, pushes the other side. It has a seal. That seal, both of these were probably leaking. You know, you really can't tell which one because there's a leak in that whole area. Your collar that goes on your output seal or on your output shaft, this collar has an O-ring inside there if you could see it. So I'm replacing the collar because the collar itself sits inside this O-ring. When it sits inside there, it's spinning, and what it does is it eventually wears down this metal right here on the edge, and you can see it's real shiny. So it could have worn it out just a little bit, but enough to make oil pass it, and the seal goes bad, so why not replace both of them while you got it apart? For a $30 collar, it's better to replace it. And all the O-ring that goes in the collar, replace this seal and that seal. Cleaned this up, took about an hour and a half. You got some pictures that I sent you of how dirty it was. You know, it needs to be clean. Maybe it doesn't need to be this clean, but I'm sorry, I clean it so that no dust, debris, little rocks, anything from that area can get in and contaminate your clutch seal or contaminate your output shaft seal, because if it does, then it's just going to leak oil again. So the best thing to do is clean it the best you can. That cover comes off real easy with 3 10mm bolts. You can remove it. When you go to the power wash, you can power wash it, because the sprocket's on front of it, so you really can't hit the seals too bad, but you can get the debris out of there, put some degreaser and clean this. If you're riding it off-road and you're getting in dust and dirt and rocks and all that, clean it every 5,000 miles. The bike, you need to clean it every once in a while to get the rocks, dust, debris, anything, road muck, anything off of it, so that stuff runs better, stays cleaner, works good, does what it's supposed to. Your sprockets and your chains, they need to be cleaned every once in a while, lubed, all that kind of stuff. But just wanted to give you an update, let you see what was done on it. That's what I did today. I'm going to go ahead and stop for today, waiting on the exhaust manifold that hasn't even, the rear exhaust manifold that hasn't even shipped, and still need to do your front forks, the full rebuild with the springs, with aftermarket springs, your seals, dust covers, everything. So also need to replace your front brake lines with steel braided brake lines, and also take your calipers apart, clean them completely, get all the oil out of there, clean all the anti-rattle clips, clean the whole thing out really good, lube everything up and put it all back together, since you do ride this bike a little bit off-road, and keep it in tip-top shape. The only other thing I do see is eventually you're going to need to replace all your hoses. Some of your hoses are really worn out. On the other side, this hose that's right here, I'm supposed to be able to squeeze it. I can't even squeeze it. I mean, it is rock hard. But back here, as you can see, I'm giving it a squeeze and it moves. But this one right here, I mean, it's rock hard. That's totally brittle. Eventually it'll wind up cracking and leaking. But that's the only other thing I see, is that you're going to have to eventually replace every single hose that's for the water system, replace your thermostat, replace your thermostat gasket, and then do the antifreeze in there. Also replace your radiator cap. That one's old, just take it off, chunk it, and put a new one in it. Do all that stuff. The only other thing that'll go bad on this would be the clutch, tires, and you should be able to put another 50,000 miles on this bike or more. But I'll keep you in the loop. That's it for today on Sunday. Have a good one.